Man has been arrested in the ongoing investigation that is into the murder of Albert Ojwang at the Central Police Station. 2 more policemen are listed as suspects alongside 2 civilians. And as IPOA carried on with the investigation, Nairobi's Central Business District was engulfed in clouds of tear gas, smoke and chaos on Thursday as hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets to protest Ojwang's killing. The demonstrators demanded the resignation of Deputy Inspector General of Police Mbagathi, and as Ben Kirui now reports, that what began as a peaceful demonstration quickly turned chaotic, and 2 vehicles were torched and multiple people sustained injuries amid running battles with the police.
Nairobi CBD turned chaotic on Thursday as fierce clashes erupted between anti-riot police and protesters in the city center, disrupting normalcy. The unrest unfolding just as Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi prepared to leave the Treasury building for Parliament for the scheduled budget reading. Outside the building's main gate, demonstrators gathered in growing numbers, chanting and waving placards, demanding justice for Albert Ojwang. The protest escalating into the afternoon, threatening to disrupt the scheduled budget reading. Demonstrators aimed at paralyzing the proceedings, demanding justice for Albert. What began as a peaceful protest quickly spiraled into violence as confrontations broke out between demonstrators and police officers deployed to contain the situation. Tear gas canisters were fired, but efforts to disperse the swelling crowd proved unsuccessful, with protesters pouring in from all directions. At some point, they occupied the main gate of Jogoo House and the headquarters of the National Police Service. The protest turned chaotic when a faction of the demonstrators turned their anger towards vehicles belonging to financial services firm Wells Fargo. Officers providing security were forced to fire warning shots into the air to regain control. One company vehicle was, however, set ablaze along Nkrumah Lane next to Electricity House, while another private car was torched amid the mayhem. Public infrastructure bore the brunt of the destruction. Protesters vandalized and overturned city trash bins and dismantled street lights meant to provide light at night, leaving a trail of damage through parts of the CBD. And as the chaos unfolded, officers from the Internal Affairs Unit of the National Police Service and IPOA arrested a policeman listed as Police Constable James Mukhwana of Central Police Station. He will be charged with murder. 2 more policemen are wanted alongside 2 civilians over the murder. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
It is now emerging that the late Albert Ojwang died long before his body was taken to Mbagathi District Hospital. An incident report from the hospital shows that he was brought in at 2 a.m. on Sunday while already deceased. Brenda Wanga reports.
The search for the truth about the circumstances leading to the brutal murder of 31-year-old teacher Albert Ojwang continues to reveal even more disturbing details.
He was rushed to Mbagathi Hospital, booked for IPOA number 090806-2025 at 01:39 hours.
While the police have maintained that the deceased was taken to Mbagathi District Hospital for medical attention, a report from the hospital paints a different and grim picture. According to the medical officer on duty that day, Albert Ojwang was brought in at 2 a.m. What the medical personnel encountered was not a man in need of urgent medical attention, but a body bearing horrific signs of trauma. His face, the report details, was swollen. His body and limbs were marred by multiple bruises. Blood, a chilling detail, was oozing from the back of his head, his mouth, and his eyes. The back of his head, the parieto-occipital region, had a cut. His entire body was cold to the touch. He was unresponsive. He was dead. The nurses on duty that fateful day both stated that upon assessing the body, they confirmed that it was a corpse that was brought to them. The report from the hospital also states that the body was brought in from the Central Police Station. The nurses on duty confirmed what the visible evidence suggested. Albert Ojwang was brought in already dead. This crucial detail directly contradicts initial statements from the police, who had indicated that Ojwang had been taken to the hospital for medical attention. The notification of death to the mortuary lists the location of his death as a central police station. While police maintain they found Ojwang unresponsive and rushed him to the hospital at 01:39 hours, just minutes before his documented arrival at Mbagathi, the hospital's findings suggest he never had a fighting chance. This conflict in the timing of Ojwang's arrival at Mbagathi is just one of the confusing details about his death. Police had initially stated that Ojwang had inflicted injuries on himself, but the detail of the severe injuries, as indicated in the report and consequently cemented by the autopsy results, show what can only be described as a brutal and deadly attack on the young man. The questions are mounting on whether Albert Ojwang died at the Central Police Station. What transpired within those walls? How did a man supposedly found unresponsive acquire such devastating and fatal injuries? And why was he then transported to a hospital under the guise of seeking medical attention when, according to the medical report, he was already beyond help? These are the questions his family and indeed the entire country wants answered, even as police and investigative agencies promise to get to the bottom of this murder that has shaken the country to its very core.